beneficial for the team?
You know, I thought it was a move that addresses our future. Groshans is, he's a top 100 MLB prospect. We've had our eye on him for a while now, and we thought it was a good move. This is a guy who's got a pretty good bat, line drive, gap-to-gap hitter, and it's something, as you look out in our years, we're going to need some infielders. So I thought he was a good one to add to the mix.
In regards to a down year for them, was that at all maybe deterring you guys for them?
Yeah, if you look at his age, he's 22 years old. He's playing in AAA. Obviously a little bit young for the level. I think we have to rely on our scouts and their opinions and what they project for the future.
You had mentioned the line drive and whatnot, and I think on draft night you and DJ both had mentioned the idea of like hitters, plate discipline. Is this something that philosophically for the organization maybe moving forward is guys that are hitters and not necessarily the swing and miss stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always been a concern for me to try and get good pure hitters into the onto the club. It's something that I've mentioned some of the teams that I've been associated with, worked for, and that was definitely part of our philosophy. And so obviously, sometimes the market doesn't necessarily dictate that, but when it does, when you can, those are the things that I think are foundationally great elements to have as part of your game.
From up in the press box, we saw you talking with Pablo pregame in the dugout. Just what was your message to him now that everything's passed?
I think that we were both relieved everything was over, that this deadline had come and passed. Look, I think, for Pablo, I just told him, I said, I must imagine, I imagine that it must have been hard for you, the past, week or so, 10 days, and that, sorry that was the case, but you're here, and, we're happy to have you. And I said, you are, very, very popular amongst other clubs, so.
And there's no doubt you guys have dealt with a lot of injuries this season, and it's obviously had a bit of an impact on the record as well. How did you have to maybe shift your mentality over these last couple of weeks? How did your philosophy, approaching the trade deadline, maybe have to change, especially after this last road trip when another several guys went down?
Yeah, this past road trip was really difficult. But look, I think, we had to be flexible. And, I think the one thing that I do feel decent about is that, if something didn't make sense, we didn't make trades because just because we felt we had to make trades or just because they presented themselves. If it made sense, we did it. Felt that, again, we had to be flexible. It wasn't really clear whether we were buyers or sellers, and we definitely took that mentality into the trade room. So again, if something presented itself, we did it.
First base situation, you Lewin, Cooper, Aguilar. Just how do you see that sort of shaking out now? You still have all three guys for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd like to get Lewin some at bats, and I think Downey will do a good job of mixing it up.
But Aguilar's contract's up at the end of the season. Was there any attempt to try to find a different place for him? Are you comfortable having him the rest of the season?
We listened on a lot of different items.
Kim is also, if you don't mind me asking, with Pablo being here, any thought of potential extension for him in the future and being part of the future of the team?
I think on something like that, we'll wait a bit.
Like, did interest in Pablo, obviously probably all along, but did the Castillo trade kind of accelerate? Did you kind of, more calls on starting pitching after the Castillo?
I would say it was there were consistently frequent calls. And I know you guys asked about the Castillo trade, last week. That trade was made, but like I said, we got a lot of calls throughout, the last couple of weeks.
So with that, the trade today, maybe the lack of trades, what's sort of, not the game plan, but maybe the objective for the rest of the season? How does that set you guys up for the winter?
Yeah, I think, look, for the rest of the season, we have some players coming off the injured list, and we saw Luzardo come back the other day. We had Bender come back today. We've got John Birdie. You know, so we've got some players coming back. You know, I think, look, I think we want to finish the year strong. And, you know, I think these guys are going to try and do their best and, try and play winning baseball, and just finish strong.